Today, we're making this case swap a race car. Wire standalone ECU and get it running. I'm over here helping a friend of mine that likes to collect cars. He winds up doing this to them. Here's another one over here. They all run standalones and all sorts of work that I have to be doing. We're putting MicroSquirt on this car, so we're in the process of tracing every wire, and then I'm gonna install all of this. This is the MicroSquirt right here. This harness, we're gonna plug it into the wires that I'm already tracing out and clipping. So I've already isolated the injector wires, the coil wires, and then a whole bunch of sensors. So all the loose wires right here are different sensors like temperature sensor, throttle position sensor, the map sensor, intake air temperature sensor, and then crank sensor. They're all crank and cam sensor. They're all in here. However, the guy that owns this car did something very nice for me. He swapped the engine harness from I don't know what model year car into this older car. And it's an engine that doesn't belong in it, but because one plug on the engine was different. Now, the old plug and the new plug, they had wires in completely different spots. And I'm purely going off of colors and maybe some educated knowledge about what some of these are, because I did trace them. So I did move everything from the old plug right here into the new plug, basically moving the wires into the right place so they correspond with this, or at least that's the hope. I'm getting ready to trace this wire. So what I'll do, I'll go hook up one end to the wire inside, and I'll come out here and I'll start probing everything else that's left. So let me do that real quick. See, I'm hooked up to this wire, and then I'll come out here and I'll try to trace it. We're still in continuity mode. First thing I do is I touch ground, make sure it's not ground, which in this case is ground. So now this could mean two things. One thing is that this wire just comes out and hooks to ground here somewhere. The other thing that it could mean is that it's getting ground from some sort of a sensor that's hooked up here or something. We'll see what it is. But what I'll do is I'll start unplugging one thing at a time until the beeping stops. And first of all, I'll check these wires that he has here rigged up like no one's business. Nothing yellow here. All the injectors are unplugged, all the coils are unplugged. The sensor is plugged in. I'll unplug. Oh, look at that. Oh, never mind. This guy slept. So trigger happy to go to sleep. Oh, we're still grounded. So I guess what I'll do, I'll put it right here in the engine mount, if I can manage to get it to do good contact. Stay there. Alright. So now I can just... So I bashed it in there between the mount and the rubber right here. So it's grounded. It's beeping. Let's see what could be our ground here that's causing this. There's one thing on the transmission. It's the reverse probably switch. Oh, multimeter is dying. Alright, so I unplugged this plug that goes to the car harness. And now we no longer have ground. This thing doesn't beep. So if you come down here with me, I'll show you what I found. So there is your alternator plug down here that I'm reaching out to. This plug right here, I see a yellow wire here and black, and we're hooked up there in the front. Once this truck passes, you hear that? So my assumption, when the car is running, this yellow wire will have some sort of power on it. Yeah, and if it does have power on it, the alternator will charge. So this is alternator wire. So I guess we do need this wire. So I'll mark it. I'll see where it'll have to go on this thing. Okay, so that's our wire right here. That's the alternator. They just use the same colors everywhere in Honda. Right. We'll worry about this one later. So now the fun part begins. This is the main harness for the MicroSquirt ECU. There's a bunch of wires, some of which we're gonna use, some of which we're not gonna use, and the rest we're probably gonna use later, or at least some of them. Right, so this is all the wiring we need today, right here. The rest is unneeded. I zip tied the wires we want together. So ground and reference grounds and crank signals, these are going to be on the side for later. I'll work with them once I'm done with all the other sensors. Now I need power and the signal from all the other sensors right here. So we're starting to connect wires. Connecting right now this guy, which is coolant temperature sensor. For now, just soldering them together and taping them. We can work on cleaning all of this up once the car runs, or maybe it'll become permanent, we don't know. Voltage reference, that's for later. Fuel pump, later. Positive, later. O2 sensor, later. Ignition out 2, map sensor, and then ignition out. Injection 1, and then battery, voltage reference, ignition out 2. We'll start with map sensor. So map sensor, if I look at my cheat sheet that I did earlier, it's a green and red wire, and I know it is one of these loose ones right here. It is here. So I'm gonna strip this guy. Okay, take these two wires, put them together. And then I'll solder them. Okay, intake air temp. Let's see what else we got. TPS. Anyway, you guys get the idea. So I'll do all of them. Yesterday I got most of the wire done. At least everything I think would be needed to get this engine started. So all the wires temporarily soldered and taped. And then you have your cam signal, crank signal on this. The wiring on this little plug. He swapped the engine harness from a newer car, actually new car and model, so it doesn't really belong. None of the pins on this side match the pins on that side. What I had to do is to find each pin where it goes, hook it up, find the relays, because I can't seem to find any diagrams easily on the internet. I guess you have to have some sort of a service where you can look up the diagrams easily on these, or somebody that has it that's willing to give it. I just didn't have enough time, so I just traced with a multimeter, like I showed earlier, every single wire on this, figured out where it was, traced it to the wiring harness here, to the ones we need. There were some extras that we didn't have to use, at least for now. So that's it. So all of these eventually will be tucked in, put back. Glove box would be back on there. It's up to him if he wants to keep the wiring as is or not. I don't like to keep extra wires. If he wants to tuck all the wire somewhere in here and just put the ECU in there and call it a day, and whenever he wants to upgrade or sell this, he can just snip the wires right at the end, scrap the car if he has to scrap it or do whatever, because he got this car for free apparently. The ECU is plugged in and it is actually running right now. So we're trying to start it today. We're gonna double check that the timing trigger is sitting on the right time. So we'll take a timing light and then we'll see if the timing at top dead center matches what's on the crank pulley. Okay, so how do we check timing? Or at least how do we make sure that the ECU knows exactly where top dead center? Meaning when we set timing, let's say at 10 degrees and spark is happening at 10 degrees, is it really 10 degrees on the engine crank? Okay, so what we do right now, we'll see if I crank right here, we'll see it's going at 10 degrees every time I crank. So what I could do, I could just change the cranking advance to a certain number. Right now it's 10 degrees, so I'll just keep it at 10 degrees. I'll set my timing light to 10 degrees outside, and I'll see if I'll see the top dead center mark on the engine out there. All right, go ahead. So I can smell gas since yesterday, and sure enough, check out this puddle underneath. Definitely leaking something. So we're gonna push this car into the shop and fix this. Okay, so we figured out what's wrong with it. Somebody connected the return to the EVAP.
I wonder who that was.
All right, go cut the key on. I'll cover my eyes.
Yes.
Send it. Oh, do it again? One more time? Oh, look at that. All right, well, we'll push it outside and try to start it, I guess. I think this car is gonna start. Quiet fuel is not zero. Burn. Let's see what happens now. All right. It wants to start, but we keep losing RPM. So signal is dropping. Let's look at the tooth logger, see what's going on. Sorry, we're running this car. That's why it's so loud in here. Oh, that's noisy. There's a way to filter it and clean it. I'll have to see what I'm gonna do. But yeah, that's why the car's not starting. And just for reference, this is how it should be. Okay, so I think I figured out what's happening here. All sensors, according to the MegaSquirt documentation, need to be grounded at the ECU. Now, from the wiring that Honda has, these right here were coming up as sensor ground. These two were logic ground, but I'm looking outside. They have a whole block, and every ground is going to it. And MegaSquirt doesn't like that. So what we're doing, MicroSquirt, because this is the smaller unit. MegaSquirt is the big ECU they have. So I'm gonna find these two wires outside, and I'm gonna solder the crank and cam sensor to it. And the way I knew this is happening, because if you unplug the ECU, no sensors should have grounds on them. So we have ground on the crank and cam sensors, and that's not gonna be okay. Every time we would crank, we'd see the timing mark keep moving all over the place, and every time we start, it's at a different time. So this gentleman right here figured out the dilemma. This is the problem. This guy was just turning on its own, and every time it spins, it goes into a different direction, and that caused this timing not to be accurate every time we crank. So I couldn't find the first tooth every time we crank with the timing light to find the top dead center, basically to make sure that this spark plug is sparking when the piston is in the right spot every time. Who makes the crank pulley? ATI company name. So it has degree timing all around the 360 circle. We use the timing light, pull the spark plugs out so we can spin the engine over, because this Honda and all Hondas, they have very poor starters. So if you're testing and you're cranking and you're cranking and you're cranking, you're gonna go through starters. So we went already through a couple, especially when the engine is not starting and kicks back, because the timing is wrong. It ends up just destroying something in the starter, and the starter goes bad. So this is starter number 3 in the car. The one that was originally in it went bad. We replaced it with one that's from AutoZone, just regular Duralast, and that went bad within like 3 tries. We went back to them, they replaced it with a golden one, and now the golden one we're taking it very easy on. But let's see, once he's done, we'll see if it starts. Everybody online says that Honda should be at 290 to 300 degrees, but what I've seen with the timing light, I consistently saw 45. And I asked Hank if he moved the trigger wheel on the crank. He said no. So once the engine runs and we have it going, we'll verify that once it's running, it's actually seeing the correct timing mark or not. But yeah, that's it. Okay, so I'm gonna start the tooth logger, and we'll try to start this car. Move the steering wheel so you guys can see the dash. Parking brake on. Ready? Oh, it's running. See what kind of a signal we have here. Looks clean. Yeah, it's a clean signal. Okay, that's good. Hey, you might want to keep that on because the alternator is still not wired. Okay, so I don't know if the map sensor is reading correctly. I don't know if the temperature sensor is reading correctly, because all of this needs to be calibrated with some values. So we'll see what happens here in a second. I'm gonna change the timing to 290.
I didn't hear it that time.
It's getting better. So Hank is hearing some clicking noises, weird noises. Not so sure what that is. Maybe it's the throwout bearing because I'm holding the clutch. Is that possible?
It could have been.
Wideband works or not? Does the wideband work or not? You need to crack the throttle body up a little bit so it'll idle. Okay, so off of camera, as we're adjusting the throttle body, we hear a weird noise like a metal scratching, like quick, 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 quick. So I panic, shut it off. Oh, waiting on him. Let me know if you want me to start it. I wonder what that noise was. Ah, that is weird. I heard it. You know, this is the noise I heard while trying to start it like a couple days ago. No. Hey. Do it again? Stop. I feel like something is grinding. You said there was a piece of metal somewhere, you don't know where it went? I feel like something is scratching here. The side of the engine, something is like, I guess.
Nah, it sounds more like it's coming from here.
Okay, well unhook the belt. Just remove the belt altogether and see what happens.
I still hear it. It sounds like it's on here in the head. Well, why don't you back it up and put it in the shop?
Oh, you want me to keep it driving like that?
I mean, we might as well pull it
Okay, here. You want to capture the
mishap.
the moment? Here,
It goes pop.
Let me.
All right, now just let it roll in there. I feel like it's a lifter.
Just throw them back here. What do you think is going on here?
I think the lifter,
Have your bets right now.
I think the lifter's bad.
I think it is something that turned. Okay, I think I see the problem. Show me the valve cover. Oh, there it is.
Yep, there it is.
One screw backed out.
Yep.
Was it not tight?
might not have been tight.
Good thing we stopped.
Yep.
That would have fell down here. It's either stripped, which means you stripped it, not me.
You stripped them.
Or
too
oh,
tight.
loose.
Yeah.
They're all loose, man.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's just valve cover shavings.
Yeah, I know.
Now you gotta clean all this metal.
Yeah, I know.
Change your oil.
Yeah, that's good.
Have them all loose. What other loose things did you leave in this engine?
It's hard to say, Z.
Crank pulley.
No.
You tightened the rod.
I didn't leave it loose. I tightened it, but it was something in behind the crank pulley.
I'll forgive you.
It wasn't my fault. I didn't know.
I'll forgive you. I forgive. To how many foot-pounds are you torquing these?
Till I hear him crack.
Perfect. That's how a torque wrench works anyway.
Yeah, when you go cut.
Just click. Oh yeah. See, now you have a clearance for your for your bolts next time this happens. And then also your cam pulley bolt is also touching.
Well, I'll just take it off and shave it.
Okay. Check out the oil pressure on this engine. So now the car runs, no noises, engine runs good, we have good oil pressure. In the next video, I'll be wiring alternator, getting this car to run decent. We can take it on a test drive.